Leeds United are entering crunch time of the transfer window with a little bit under 2 weeks left, and you would ideally think that the majority of players that were going to leave have already gone, which would give us everything that we need in the bank in order to sign the players that we want from this point forward, including, depending on who you are, some people are leaning towards the direction of a second choice keeper, which we probably need, some people to a left back, others to a number 10 striker combination. Everyone thinks that we need slightly different things, but most people are of the opinion that in terms of outgoings, we're probably sorted by this point. However, that has been made a little bit more complicated by the fact that, of all teams, Wrexham have a significant interest in Lucas Nmecha. Now, I've been able to have a proper conversation with a Wrexham fan about why they have an interest in Nmecha, what sort of number they'd be willing to pay. Had a little bit of an opportunity to sort of take a look at what this would mean for Leeds United for the rest of the season, for the rest of the window, and ultimately for the foreseeable future, and ultimately establish whether or not this is an actual good idea, or we should steer clear of this completely. But before I do that, pop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, that'd be lovely of you. That'd be lovely of you. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm recording this at almost midnight, so my brain is a little bit scrambled. I've been having a lot of conversations about Lucas Nmecha recently, including a period in which the person I was talking to thought I meant Felix. We sorted that one out, but I'm going to start with why Wrexham have a little bit of an interest in Lucas Nmecha, because we know Lucas Nmecha as a guy that is a reasonable backup for Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin is a very, very good finisher, as is Nmecha. Calvert-Lewin is very, very good winning the ball from those long ball situations, holding it up, as is Nmecha. They don't quite have all of the sort of movement down. They're not the most fluid and flowing centre-forwards, but they do a job, and that's what you ultimately need them to do at our point, which means that he's an ideal backup. And this is where the Wrexham conversation comes in, because, and I quote this as precisely what sort of Wrexham need in terms of attacking players at the moment from the friend that I was discussing it with. It sounds like a Parkinson kind of player. We tend to go 3-4-2-1, we do that a little bit, and occasionally switch to 3-5-2 late game, we do that a little bit. Ultimately, Parky looks for a big lump that can win balls and finish chances without being especially good technically. That, in my opinion, is screaming Lucas Nmecha. So, with Wrexham very, very probably having a significant interest in him, because, let's be honest, he kind of fits the exact profile that they want. They've seen him play recently. The question becomes, what exactly would a bid look like, and is it going to be worth our while? And the specific numbers that I've heard sort of bandied around, I heard someone say £15 million at one point, which I will be completely honest with you is probably vastly too much for Leeds United to be looking for. Wrexham have spent about 15 million quid so far. They are currently looking at signing a £10 million centre-back, so they won't have that much of a budget to spend at the minute. So 15, I think, is a little bit far, but in my eyes, the sort of valuation that I would tend to put on Lucas Nmecha is that sort of £8 to £10 million range. The sort of player where, if you are a championship club looking for a centre-forward that can push you into the playoffs, it's the same sort of price that we paid for Patrick Bamford back when we signed Patrick Bamford for, I think, 8 million quid. That same sort of number is a reasonable amount to spend on someone of Lucas Nmecha's sort of ability, renown, stature, all that kind of stuff. However, it's a little bit interesting when you consider the Leeds United factors, because first of all, any penny that we get out of a sale for Lucas Nmecha would go down as pure profit. We signed him on a free, we've only been paying his wages, he's only got, I think, 1 year left on his contract now, so let's be honest, it's sort of completely fine for him to go-ish. It's all going to be profitable. It means that we're going to get to chuck on the squad cost ratio stuff, all beneficial. And then you get the one sort of thing that will very much throw that price tag up, and that is the situation that we're in terms of the squad. Because in terms of centre-forwards, we have Calvert-Lewin, we have Nmecha, Harry Gray has gone out on loan, Mateo Joseph is crocked for an extended period of time. Nonto doesn't really play as a striker. Okafor doesn't really play as a striker and came here partly because he was bored of playing as a striker for AC Milan. There's a lot of things that say that we don't really have a lot of depth at centre forward. And there's two ways of looking at this. One is from the fee perspective. From the fee perspective, a sale of Lucas Nmecha would spike the price that we are able to ask. Because we could go to Wrexham and go, right, okay, fine, you can have him, but can you add another 40% to the amount that you're willing to pay? Because at that point, we are a club that doesn't really want to sell. We're a club that is in a position of, well, we need to replace him immediately, and ideally with a very, very good talent. We know we're potentially looking for a 10/striker. This sort of big injection of cash would mean that we're in a position where we can get a significantly better 10/striker. But we can use that to sort of leverage the situation with Wrexham and go, look, you need to make it worth our while because this is a big risk that we are taking. We're leaving ourselves short until we get another player in. Ideally, it'd be a case of we get another player in first and then Nmecha goes. But you can sort of leverage the idea of, well, this is a risk because we know that Nmecha is a known quantity. We know that we can put him on the pitch. We know exactly what we're getting from him. Why would we sacrifice that just because you want a centre forward? Give us more money for it, please. And that's how we could spike that 8 to 10 million to 12 to 15 if we are clever about it, if we are lucky with it. But there is the risk of it would leave us sort of short. There is the risk of the fact that if Lucas Nmecha were to leave Leeds United, our candidates for centre forward are Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And when that's happened in the past, when we've run out of centre forwards, we've been in a position where someone like a Dan James has had to start there. And we know that that didn't work because that happened in the season that got Bielsa sacked, and no one particularly liked that point in time. And this is where there is a very, very, very big choice to make, because we know that the players that we are looking at in the sort of 9-10 position are relatively young. All of the names that have popped up have been sort of in that 20, 21, 22 sort of age range with a hell of a lot of potential. And another 8, 10 to 12 million pounds on top of the budget that we've already got for that could absolutely push us to the next level. Could make sure that the signing that we do get is genuinely spectacular and isn't just a case of you're an understudy for Calvert-Lewin. It's a case of you have immediately arrived and you have arrived. And your general goal right here is you're going to steal Dominic Calvert-Lewin's spot like that. Rather than just learn from him, fight him for it. And I think that's the sort of difference that it could make if we get such a fee for someone like a Lucas Nmecha. There is no guarantee in either direction as to whether or not we end up signing Nmecha. Signing Nmecha? Selling Nmecha. Thanks, Brain. And I will be honest, there isn't an official bid or anything out of Wrexham yet. But I think it's a very, very interesting sort of story to look at. The idea of how much is squad consistency worth in comparison to the potential of a better squad. I guess it's a sort of judgment for people to make dependent on their own way of looking at football. For me, in this instance, I would rather not sell Nmecha, but if the money were right, if it were to push into that 10, 12 million pound sort of territory, and we were to get a good replacement and have them lined up without leaving a squad hole between the signings, I wouldn't mind it too much. I think I would be in favour of that, but I do also want to know what you think on that one. So let me know in the comments down below whether you'd want Lucas Nmecha to stay, whether you want to sell him, what sort of price tag you put on him. And we'll hopefully have a decent end to that transfer window. But if you enjoyed the video, pop a like on it, that'd be nice. Subscribe, become a channel member, all the fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Doodaloo, friendos. Oh, it might be Daniel Farke's press conference later. I'll keep an eye out for that, and so should you. Ta-ra.